Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well. In the previous lectures, we discussed semantics and syntax, or you can say the first part of the semantics and syntax, in which we discuss central adjectives, peripheral adjectives, and the positions of adjective, and the pre and post modification of nouns, nounness or adjectiveness of adjectives, or you can say optional adjectives, etc. And we also check the syntax of those words, and we also discussed that we also saw the differences between these words like not happy, unhappy, etc. And we also saw here the we also saw the the one modification possible in the phrases or the clauses, that is pre or the post modification. And those adjectives or those adjectiveness sorry, those words are also known as peripheral adjectives, because they can be used in one position, either before or after the noun, right? Whereas there were some words which can be used both in both positions. Those adjectives were known as central adjectives. And whereas there are also some adjectives which are known as classifiers, they are co-opted adjectives, and their adjectiveness is limited. This adjectiveness cannot be applied in all the cases, right? So their adjectiveness is co-opted and is used for some specific cases, and we cannot apply those adjectives in every position. Here are some examples which we have already discussed. And then we also discuss some adjectives which become the part of the word and become compound noun, like brain, wave, dream, etc. Today we are going to discuss the next part of this topic, that is, after classifiers, we get a range of central adjectives attributing various qualities to the noun. So classifiers, as we have already discussed, that they are co-opted adjectives. They do not have all the qualities of adjective. Their adjectiveness is limited. For example, we said hunting, dogs, etc. So after these qualifiers, we sometimes get a range of central adjectives. The central adjectives are those which can be used in both positions, that is before and after noun. So after these classifiers, we get a range of these central adjectives, and these central adjectives attributes various qualities to the noun, which is used in the sentence or clause or phrase. They characteristically occur in the following order: working outwards. For example, there is specific order of the adjectives. Here is a very short list, but otherwise we have a kind of long list. Here it is mentioned: color, size, evaluation. For example, lovely, big, black, hunting dogs. If we have a range of where you can say different adjectives in the same class or in the same phrase or sentence, how will we use or arrange those adjectives? What will be the order of adjectives? So we normally use size at the start. We size adjective are the adjectives which show size of the thing at the start. Then we use general description of the adjectives. Then we use adjective of age, then shape, then color, then material, then origin, then purpose. Purpose, for example, gerund adjectives like walking stick, riding boots, etc. So this is a different topic which you might be very clear about, or you can have this order on internet as well, or in so many other books as well. This is not the subject of today's topic. We are just discussing it for the sake of clearing the points here. So what this gives us is a descriptive priority based on semantic ordering, in which color followed by size are seen to be more essential features of the animal than the speaker's evaluation. So in this order is basically this is semantic based, and we semantically order such adjectives, or we semantically order this descriptive these adjectives in the same phrase. So this when we when this color adjective of color is followed by size, so these things are actually these are seen to be more essential features of the animals, right? when the size, when the adjective of color is being followed by the adjective of size, so this is attributed to the essential features of the animals, uh, rather than the speaker's evaluation. So when the adjective of color follows the adjective of size, so it shows that this is the feature or essential feature of the animal, right? Not than the speaker's evaluation. In the outer ring of pre-modification, after central adjectives, we find numerals 1 to 3 and so on, right? Sometimes in the outer ring of pre-modification, right? Pre-modification is the modification which occurs before the noun, right? So and especially in this pre-modification, our outer ring of pre-modification, that is after central adjectives, we find such numerals or such adjectives, like you can say such classifiers in the form of 1, 2, 3 and so on. Like classifiers, these are co-optic adjectives and don't have the full range of adjective like qualities. So these adjectives, the adjectives, these pre-modifiers, for example 1, 2, 3 and so on, etc., they also are in a way known as co-opted adjectives, right? Because they don't, their adjectiveness is limited. They do not enjoy the full range of adjective like qualities. So we cannot say very one or very two or the lovely big black hunting dogs were three, right? So we cannot say the things like that. That is very one, very two, very three, are the lovely big black hunting dogs were three. So this look odd, right? So it seems that the unmarked semantic structure of noun phrase or pre-modification is as follows. So that thing is not possible, that we cannot pre-modify them here. So we do not accept the words like very, before, one, two, three, etc. Rather, we will say we will put them at the start of the phrase, like here, six lovely big black hunting dogs. So we will not say the lovely big black hunting dogs. Look, if we change or if we temper with the order of adjective, it the sentence, the semantics or syntax of the phrase or the clause or the sentence looks awkward, right? So we need to be very cautious about the syntax of the or the order of the adjectives in a phrase, class, or a sentence, right? We will use the one, two, three, or the, you can say, classifiers or the numerals in this way at the start of the class. That is six lovely big black hunting dogs. Here we at the start of the class we use numerals, right? So it is co-opted adjective in a way, and it is a classifier as well. So after that we use the general description, that is lovely. Then we use size, because we use size before color. Then we use color, that is black. Then again this is classifier, that is hunting dog. Or it also falls under purpose because it is a kind of it is a form of gerund as well. So here we have the another, you can say, we are giving the different names which I have already told you. That is at the start, it is the author says it number, then evaluation or general description, then size, color, classification, or head down. So this is the order of the phrase here, and this is the correct order of the phrase. A corollary of the argument so far is that formal classifications such as adjective, noun, verb, and so forth are not really precise enough to describe the semantic reality of the word classes. So these formal approaches to syntax or these formal classifications, right? The classifications given by the old grammarian or the formalists, so they are not precise enough to describe the semantic reality of word classes or the semantic reality of parts of speech. There are degrees of adjectiveness and also of nounness, right? So there is not one adjective or only one degree. There are degrees of adjectiveness. There are also degrees of nounness as well. So the formal classifications are not able to, they are not able to lift the load, heavy load of these nounness and adjectiveness or of the degrees. A word like eating, which is a present participle of the verb to eat, becomes a noun in the sentence eating is forbidden. So this word like eating, right? this is the present participle of the verb to eat as well, right? We use eat as a verb and eating as a present participle, and then eaten as well. So here eating can be used as a present participle of the verb to eat. That is, present participle of the verb to eat is of course a verb. Eating is a verb. However, it can be used as a noun in the sentence like eating is forbidden. So here we are using it as a noun. Eating is forbidden. So eating here is noun. But can is this a full noun? Is this does this word have the all the nounness ability, are the abilities that can be found in a pure noun? No, but it is restricted in its noun-like qualities, right? Here is the answer. We do not find all the noun-like qualities in this word, right? It is restricted in its noun-like qualities. It cannot be put into the plurals like eatings are forbidden. So we cannot make the plural of this noun. We cannot say eatings are forbidden. So we can say that its nounness is limited, right? Because it is co-opted noun in a way. It does not enjoy the all the qualities that can be found in a pure noun, or be pre-modified by the. So can it be so? First thing is we cannot make the plural of this noun. We cannot say eating is forbidden here, or be pre-modified by the other determiner. So it cannot be modified as well. We cannot say the eating is forbidden, right? This is also wrong. We cannot say the eating is forbidden, right? So it does not enjoy another noun like quality here, except in certain construction. For example, yeah, we can use the in some constructions, of course. For example, we can say the eating of food is forbidden. So this is a different construction. The eating of food is forbidden, right? Here we can use the before eating, but here, the eating is forbidden. Simply, we cannot use the before simple noun. But here, this is a simple, different construction. For example, the noun plus a plus noun. This when this construction comes, you can use the before that. Otherwise, simply the cannot be used before eating, because eating does not have all the qualities of a noun. It can also be a verb and also sometimes have noun-like qualities in the sentence. So this is an indication to us that semantically it is not naturally a noun. So here is the kind of conclusion of the of the discussion we are going through in this paragraph. So this is the indication that semantically it is not naturally a noun, right? If you look at the various subclasses of nouns, you will see that they are all slightly different in their syntactic behavior. So all the subclasses of nouns are slightly different in their syntactic behavior. We make differences, right? It is we who actually create these slight changes and differences in syntactic behavior. You know, it is we, the readers, right? The speaker of the language who bring these changes. Language itself do not or does not bring changes, right? This is one of the things which makes it difficult to define what a noun is in formal sense, right? So, it makes for us difficult to define what a noun is in formal terms. So it becomes difficult to define a noun in formal sense, in formal terms. There is no one thing which they have in common, right? So there is no one thing which they have in common. The rules differ, right? There comes the exception suddenly after the formal rules. The underlying reason for this is not syntactic but semantic. So underlying reason behind this peculiarity of language are there are when we say that when there is no common thing in language, it is not because of the syntactic behavior but of semantic behavior, but because of semantic. Consider, for example, the division between mass and count nouns. So let us see the differences between mass and count nouns. There is a very broad categorization which separates nouns that indicate countable entities, for example, tables, chairs, and so on, from those which indicate uncountable entities such as music or sincerity. So there is a broad difference between these nouns. For example, the nouns which are countable, for example table, chair, etc., and the nouns which are uncountable, for example music, sincerity, etc., we do not count them, right? In terms of morphology, nouns, count nouns can be put into the plural because you can have more than one of them. So in morphological terms, right, you can put these count nouns into plural because they have more than one of them, right? So count nouns are in a way countable, right? Because they can be plural can be made out of them. Whereas mass nouns cannot. So mass noun in a way come uh, under the category of uncountable nouns, right? You can say uncountable entities or nouns are mass nouns, and countable are count nouns are, you can say, countable nouns, right? We can make plural of count nouns and we cannot make plural of mass nouns. So we cannot say musics or we do not say sincerities, etc. On the other hand, mass nouns can occur without a determiner. So there is another quality of mass noun is that it can occur without a determiner, whereas determiner comes before count nouns and sometimes do not occur without do not come before mass nouns. We can say music is good for you. Here music is a mass noun. We are not using determiner before music, right? Sincerity is a virtue. Sincerity here is a mass noun, and we are again not using a determiner before sincerity. We are not using the or a or an, etc. We are simply using sincerity as a virtue. Whereas count nouns cannot. So count nouns cannot be used in this way. They are preceded by determiners, right? We do not say table is wooden, chair is broken, right? We use determiner before them. This neat categorization is upset, however, by the fact that a good many nouns can operate as both mass and count. However, this although this categorization is upset in a way, but there are a number of nouns that can be used that can be used both as mass and count nouns, right? Many people, when they start studying language, find this degree of flexibility frustrating. So yeah, people, especially the second language learner, they get frustrated in sometimes when they start learning this degree of flexibility. That is the mass nouns and count nouns both being used, both having the same qualities at times, right? In the language, that sometimes they do not have determinants and sometimes they do have. In the most of the cases, mass nouns do not have this have determinant before them, and count nouns do have. So sometimes they both nouns can have determinants and both nouns do not have a determinant before them. So this flexibility is kind of frustrating for those people, especially specifically who are second language learners and who at the start who start studying a different language, a second language, the English language, you can say in this case. But this is usually because they have too formalistic a view of syntax. So this flexible, this frustrating attitude occurs, this frustration comes because they usually are too formalistic about when it comes to a view of syntax. They are not functionalists. They kind of are too so formalistic. They have too formalistic a view of syntax. If, however, you treat the problem as semantic, one, it becomes less of an irritation and more of an insight into the way in which language relates to experience. So if you see this problem semantically, so this becomes less of an irritation and more of kind of an insight into the way in which language relates to experience. So we should see this problem semantically, right? We should focus on the semantic aspect of the language here because it relates the language to our experience. We encounter objects in the world in two principal ways, as items and as substances. Yeah, in the outer world or in the practical world, in our experience, we encounter objects in two principal ways. First one is as objects. We see objects as items, and second one is we see objects as substances. As items, they can be individuated and counted, whereas as substance they cannot. So when we see when we see objects as items, so we see that they can be individuated, they can be separated, and they can also be counted, whereas substances cannot be individuated and counted, right? So for example, a noun like tea, can refer to a substance. So here is an example of substance item, that is tea can refer to a substance, in which case it behaves as a mass noun. So substance noun or substance items are in a way a mass noun. Uh, why? Because this T here, it cannot be individuated, and I'm sorry, and it cannot be it cannot be counted. So in a way here it behaves as a mass noun. So T is good for you. We are saying this, and here we cannot count T. We cannot individuate T here. So it has the same qualities which a mass noun has. But it can also refer to a single item, and then it behaves as a count noun. Look, this T here also have another quality which can be found in count nouns. That is, it can also refer to a single item. So this quality, this attribute can be found in count nouns. That is, they can be singular as well as plural. So here T refers to a singular thing, right? Singular item. So there are attributes, both attributes can be found in this word, that is T. That is the qualities of a mass noun, and also a quality of a count noun as well. What are the qualities of mass noun which can be found in T? It is here a substance, in which case, so this T is a substance, so it behaves like a noun, right? So it is a substance, it cannot be individuated. So another quality which can be found in this T, here we are not using any determiner before this. So in this case it resembles to a mass noun. But there is another quality which is related to a count noun, that is, it referred to a single item, right? So it can also behaves as a count noun in this way. So we can also say three trees please. So it does mean we can make a plural out of this as well. So it also behaves like a count noun. So both qualities, so the qualities of both noun, that is a mass noun and a count noun, can be found in this one. Some nouns like table and music are less flexible and only occur as one or the other. So T was such a noun which can occur in both positions, right? We can have the qualities of both a mass and a count noun. But there are some words or some nouns, you can say, like table and music, etc. They are less flexible and they can only occur in as one or the other position. They do not occur in both positions. They do not possess the qualities of both nouns. But all we are seeing is that we haven't yet developed an alternative sense for them. Yet, although the current expression popular music suggests we have, in the case of music, this is one of the areas in which language is constantly evolving. So, the writer says that whatever the case is, we haven't yet developed an alternative sense for them. So, for these things. According to the writer, these are the terms that haven't yet been explored, or we haven't found the alternative sense for them, as the language is constantly evolving, and this area is also constantly evolving. So a day will come that when we will have the alternative sense for all these terms, right? As we have for tea, right? So we will also have the same sense for table and music as well. In Britain, for example, accommodation is a mass noun. We think of it as a substance. So look at here. So the things are changing as well. In Britain, in England, here accommodation, the word accommodation is a mass noun. So we do in mass noun does mean we do not make plural of this noun, and we do not normally use determiner before that. We think of it as a substance or a mass noun, even of an abstract kind in Britain, right? So we do not we do not encounter accommodations. So we do not come across with the words like accommodations, but we come across with the words like accommodation. In America, however, we would do, because there it can be treated as an item. So in America, we will encounter with the words like accommodation as well, because there this accommodation word is being treated as an item, not as a substance. So this shows that languages are changing, right? The point I'm making is a natural consequence of Nelson Francis argument, which I quoted in chapter 5. Words do not have meaning. this is the point that the writer or the author wants to show here. Words do not have meaning. People have meanings of words. So it is the people who design or who have the meanings for words. I suggest to you in chapter 1 that all the classification which grammar imposes on language are inevitably rough and ready. You will encounter them all the time when studying syntax, transitive with intransitive, finite with non-finite, gradable with non-gradable, mass with noun. Words move around in this system precisely because the world or experience which they represent is infinitely varied and changeable. So the writer again strengthens his point by saying that words move around in the system precisely because the world of experience which they represent is infinitely varied and changeable. So world of experience, by world of experience, the writer wants to say that, and the people, right? Because the people make the world, right? So they create language. So according to the writer, it is the people which represent, so which actually change, or which bring changes to the world as well, uh, to in the words. If there is irregularity in language, it is because we are irregular. It is because we, the people, are irregular. The words are not irregular on their own. They cannot show irregularity, but the people will show irregularity. It is the outer experience of the world, right? Or of the people. I'm suggesting to you then that the way to get a real handle of syntactic categories is to penetrate the semantic reality they encode. So the author again suggests that try to penetrate the semantic reality that the words encode, right? So need not go only for the syntactic categories. So if you want to go, if you want to get the real understanding of this, so try to get a real handle on syntactic categories. Sorry, you can get this approach. Uh, you can understand them better by trying to penetrate the semantic reality that the words, or that the people who create the language, they encode in the words, right? So try to unravel or reveal, or get the semantic reality of the words which they encode. So it is never too early to start this, but it is advisable to do the elementary syntactic work involved in the learning about this classification first. So try to, this is all about the semantic and meaning and syntax of the words. So we discussed the different things in this lecture. Please watch the previous video before watching this one, and ask me any question if you have regarding this topic or any other topic. Thank you very much for watching.